your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, we suck right now, so I'm pretty shocked. Obviously we had a great offseason, great training camp, and we got to figure it out. So we know we got a good group, we got good players, and we can be a really good offense, but clearly we're not. So everybody's got to take accountability, look in the mirror, and fix it. I got to play better. I'm the leader of this offense. It's on me. The wideouts got to play better. The line's got to play better. Running backs got to play better. We got to coach better. I mean, it's everybody, honestly.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. It is a Check the Tape Tuesday, week 2 in the books in the National Football League. Your Jaguars, they're still 0-2 this morning. Jeff Lageman's here with us, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey. Good morning to all of you out there. Logs, I'll start off with the first question. What the hell? And that was the nice version of it. Just what in the world?
That's a great question.
What in the world? What's happening, Logs? What's going on?
Yeah, that's a good way to start it out. I mean, if you're talking about questions, that would encompass everything.
Bro, last night, I mean, we're just talking about it before we came on the air. So similar. The way that game played out, if you stayed to the end of Monday Night Football. I know, for the audience, if you stayed to the end, you couldn't make it, but you got Philadelphia facing a third down. They're up 3. They're in obvious field goal range, and Atlanta has just burned their last time out, and Philly decides to throw the football, and the play was there, but Saquon Barkley drops it. So what happens then? The clock stops.
Sounds like what Cleveland did.
Sounds exactly like what Cleveland did, right? By the way, Deshaun Watson at that point, eat it. Take the sack. You're going to punt anyway, right?
And no awareness there by Deshaun.
Total bonehead play. So Philly kicks the field goal. They go up 6. Mm-hmm. Atlanta gets, I think it was 134 when they kicked off. They got it at the 30.
They could have taken it down to under a minute.
Easily, right? They could have burned it under a minute and then possibly even gone for, you could have run the tush push.
Yeah.
Maybe gotten it, or maybe gotten close enough to run it again.
Yeah.
Right.
And leave them there at the 5-yard line instead.
Atlanta doesn't even run the first play they ran when they got the ball back. If they had run that 40 seconds off that's the one they completed inbounds, middle of the field
pass.
To Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they don't run that play.
Yeah, because you can't.
Because you only had 40 seconds to play at that point.
And no timeout.
They let him go. Basically, what they needed was 101. That's how long the drive took to stick it in the end zone. No timeouts. Hitting Darnell Mooney on sideline passes, and he's just going sliced and diced through that defense, and boom, boom, boom. And so all night long, Atlanta, they ran the ball pretty well, but they just couldn't quite put it all together. And there was a game for the stealing, and they went out and they took it. And they, now they're 1-1, and they're feeling great about themselves today.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1-1 is a lot better place to be than 0-2, just from a psychological standpoint. That's for sure. And then, obviously, the Jaguars at 0-2. I mean, everybody's talking about the percentages of getting in the playoffs, but the psyche when you're 0-2, it takes a lot to kind of bounce back, and it's not easy to do when you start out, when your expectations are so high. And then you start out 0-2, it makes it tough. I mean, it really does, because then, and then, even though they don't want to admit this, but you still kind of reflect back as a player to last year when you lost 5 out of the last 6. You're like, geez, why we can't get this thing turned around? That impacts you. And I don't care if you say, well, it's a new season and all this. That's a bunch of hogwash. It impacts you. You're human. It's the way it is.
So, we'll get into all the particulars, but just as an overview, how can an NFL team in today's era have their quarterback throw for only 16 yards in the first half of a football game? How's that possible?
It's not very good. But
it's not very good. First play of the game went for 9 yards.
Yeah, everything is possible.
Oh, I know it's possible, but I mean, it's highly improbable and unlikely to happen.
Yeah, especially in today's NFL, where it's a passing league and it's pass-friendly. You wouldn't expect that, but it happens.
I did, honestly. I mean, so what do you attribute when you watch the film? What are you putting it on the first half? Didn't have the ball a lot because Cleveland dominated time of possession.
To me, that was the most disappointing thing of all. And it's disappointing that the offense, their numbers, and et cetera, et cetera. You got a football team coming in here that didn't have any semblance of of being an effective offense whatsoever against the Dallas Cowboys. A quarterback who has so much going on off the field that his mind, I'm sure, is not completely focused. And then you allow them to control the tempo of the game right out of the gate. You allowed them to score on 3 consecutive possessions. And that's the part I think that's hard to understand. And then you got the feeling, I mean, I think everybody probably felt the same thing that was there or watched it or whatever, that you just felt like that there wasn't any energy. I mean, this is a home opener. Home opener. Okay? Home opener. Say it again.
Home opener.
And you didn't have any kind of performance or any kind of plays in the first half that would show that you've got energy.
Yeah.
You know,
and I think
that was hard to stomach.
I think on defense in the NFL, that this year's been different. It feels like a little bit from a league-wide perspective where teams are getting back to trying to run the ball a lot more than they have in the past. Cleveland has to because their quarterback is their quarterback at this point, right? But I think energy on defense is created when teams try to run the ball early in a game and you say, not today. That's not going to work today. And they never put up that wall on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. Like, that was among a long list of things I was disappointed with, that they never got into it on the run defense side of that game, and that's what really killed them on that drive early against the Browns.
Well, that, and then also in the first half, you had I think it was a roughing penalty on Devin Lloyd that, kept the drive going, which was, I mean, come on. I mean, that's just fundamental football. Don't make a mistake, and you don't touch the quarterback. Mm-hmm. After a certain period of time, everybody knows that. That's not hard to understand.
Yeah.
And then you mess that up. You actually had 2 of them in the game.
Right.
To me, that part is unacceptable. It's just disappointing because you knew going into the game that, and I think we all talked about it. I'm sure they talked about it in their meeting rooms and et cetera, that, look, try to start fast against the Cleveland offense. And you start fast against them because they had a hard week against the Dallas Cowboys. Deshaun Watson had a game in which his eyes were consistently dropping looking for the rush. So your whole purpose in this game is keep them from gaining any confidence. And you allowed them right out of the gate to gain confidence. And I give Kevin Stefanski a lot of credit. He's a really good football coach. Okay, I mean, maybe one of the best coaches that doesn't, and he's gotten recognition. I'm not trying to say that he doesn't get recognition, but to be able to be the 2-time coach of the year, dealing with some of the things that he's been dealing with that organization, he might be better. I mean, he might be one of the best coaches of all time. I mean, because he's getting his football team to play well. Last year he won with Joe freaking Flacco. Just disappointing overall. And then here's the other thing. At the end of that ball game, this football team in Jacksonville is fortunate to be able to have a chance. Fortunate.
That's not even the word for it.
I mean, you're lucky, whatever you want to call it.
Right. I mean, it was stupidity on Cleveland's part.
Right. Like, Cleveland's not any good, but they were better than a really bad Jaguars team on Sunday. That's why they won.
I've heard different people say, look, okay, well, if we had not fumbled the ball in Miami, things would be different in that game. And then if we didn't do this in this past game, and to use the famous line, I think it was Don Meredith who said it, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we would all have a Merry Christmas. Mm-hmm. Okay, the reality is that you're not making the plays to win. You're making mistakes to allow yourself to have no opportunity to win. And until you start making those plays, you're not going to win.
Who's getting nuts for Christmas, by the way? I'm like, what are you talking about, Dandy Don? All right. Here was Doug Peterson yesterday, since we started this on the offense. How can you jumpstart the Jacksonville Jaguars offense?
Yeah, that's something we got to look at, these next couple of days. I think it starts in practice. I think we can do some things differently in practice and how we, attack that, each period in practice. That's one. Obviously the game plan is the game plan. You can simplify as much as you want, but it doesn't change the fact that you gotta start fast, right? I mean, that just goes without saying. And it just has to be an awareness, just a sense of urgency by everybody, the entire football team, really. When we head into these games, but I think we can maybe mix some things up and just a little more attention to detail in practice as we go each week.
So you're talking about the intensity. That's one aspect of the answer. Practice. We got to have more intensity in practice, more attention to detail in practice. Why are they having such a hard time practicing well? I don't understand this.
I don't think that that's necessarily that they're having a hard time practicing well. I think as a coach, I mean, you just go back to the fundamentals of getting better, which is, okay, let's get to practice and let's get better. Because if you're saying, well, we're not, you're not trying to basically admit that you're not practicing well, and I don't think that that's the case that they are. I mean, I've watched them practice. They practice well, and I don't think it's the case of that they're not practicing well. But you've got to be able to shift the practice and the performance and the concentration and the detail over to game day. And right now, that's just not happening. And so I don't think it's that they're not practicing well. But as a coach, I mean, you keep preaching those things because that's what you have to lean on, is your hard work, your concentration, your intensity, and attention to details. And then now you've got to get it to carry over to game day. I mean, right now, this football team is making mistakes that are kind of shared across the board. It's not like, okay, they have a deficiency in one area on offense and they've got a deficiency in one area on defense. I mean, it's kind of a shared responsibility. It's like bingo. You turn the little thing and all of a sudden you reach in there and you grab a ball, and that's the guy who made a mistake on that play. And you turn it around again and you reach in there and there's another mistake by, it's different this guy. Yeah, I mean, that's, and until you stop that, it's going to be hard to win.
All right, it is a Check the Tape Tuesday, so we invite your questions, calls, comments with Jeff Lageman here on Jaguars Today. You can hit us up in a variety of ways, 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Same number for the text line, driven by Lifetime Enclosures. And we've got the YouTube virtual studio chat available to you. You can hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Logs56, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
I'd like to thank Dylan Denmark, although he did win the Breakfast Bowl this week. He did lay down for me in Jaguars Today League #1 to enable me to get a rare fantasy victory.
Can't win them all.
In those Jaguars Today leagues right now. D-Rock, what are you buying this week, buddy?
He's buying something, though.
It ain't us, Tony. Yeah. In 2 weeks, no buying breakfast.
I was nervous when the Ingram news came out. Bummed for the team, which was the bigger thing. But obviously, tight ends in that Breakfast Bowl, man, they'll get something else.
Yeah.
Maybe the zero didn't hurt me.
Maybe you'll be the guy who carries over the ET curse. We had a little hiatus from it.
Could be, as long as I'm not carrying ET's curse at having to continually buy breakfast. If it keeps working out this way, where I'm finishing second for the week, I'm okay with it.
All right, we'll see how it goes. All right, your call's coming in right now. We've got Jeff Lageman here for the next 2 hours, so let's take advantage and try to dissect what's going on with these Jags, and more importantly, what they can do to right the ship in the next couple of weeks with some big games coming up. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Lickety Split. In North Florida, it gets hot outside, and, man, when it does, your AC better be working. If it goes out, you need help now, like right now, like Lickety Split. Call Lickety Split. Get same-day emergency service for your AC. They also do plumbing and electric. They've got dozens of certified technicians to take care of whatever kind of issues you have here, serving all of Northeast Florida in Jacksonville, Oakley, St. Augustine, Orange Park, Fleming, Ponte Vedra Beach, and on and on. For quality and care, call the hair. Go online to licketysplitfl.com.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Get a Friday evening full of football fun.
I'm National College football writer Matt Hayes.
The big games, the big matchups.
Get you ready for football Saturday.
It's the Bueller Aaron Plumbing College Kickoff, Friday night at 6. Brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue on 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Hey, gang, Prosser here to save you some cash. Maximize your home sale now with the market experts who deliver more money in less time, and those experts are Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. You don't have to worry. The worries are relieved with Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts we are trusting and recommending with the sale of your home. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Mortgage rates are down. It's time to create your market. Marvin in Cobblestone writes, my siblings and I moved our parents to Maryland so they can get some extra help as they get older. Next, we had to sell the home to get them some financial help for their extra care. We hired Chad and Sandy, and they delivered big. Chad and Sandy's team got our home sold in 7 days above asking price. You can too. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Is an injury keeping you on the sidelines? Whether it's your shoulder, neck, back, knee, wrist, or ankle, don't let pain hold you back any longer. At Injury Care Centers, they offer the same high-tech treatments trusted by the pros to supercharge your recovery without surgery. The road to recovery starts the moment you pick up the phone. 904-783-0008. That's 904-783-0008. Injury care starts at Injury Care Centers.
Before termites attack your home or business and cause costly damage, Terminix it. At Terminix, we know how to stop termites. These destructive pests have been around for millions of years, but before they show up, so do we. And their time is up. Don't live with a termite problem? Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
Oh my goodness. Fishing is more fun when you catch something.
Yeah!
Listen for the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show with Captain Kevin. Woo-hoo! Brought to you by Veterans Wholesale Cabinets and Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Jacksonville's building a fence along the goal line. This is the Superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
Josh Hines-Allen was a monster on Sunday for the Teal and Black. The superstar defensive end recorded 4 tackles versus the Browns and also had a sack in what was a dominant performance. Without question, Allen displayed his superiority on Sunday and is your Superior Fence and Rail's Defensive Player of the Game.
If you're tired of your fence looking like a bad hair day, well, it's time for a fence makeover with Superior Fence and Rail. They'll make your yard the talk of the town with a new fence installed by their expert team.
Your fence is fantastic.
My fence is giving all of my neighbors some serious pick and envy. Thanks, Superior Fence and Rail.
So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your fence installation project today.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Denny Thompson here. They're still growing. Tyson Sound and Security is looking to hire a master electrician. Are you or someone you know a master electrician with residential experience? Candidate will start at the industry's most competitive pay. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call to apply 762-1000. Tyson Sound and Security hiring a master electrician offering top-notch industry pay. Call to apply 762-1000. Equal opportunity employer.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality products. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
Well, as you know, the ball goes where it goes. And there were opportunities, but the ball was going somewhere else in the progression. So, we're going to continue to find ways to get Christian the football, and he'll be a big part of the offense.
That's Doug Peterson yesterday asked about the lack of touches for Christian Kirk. We'll get to that. I'm just still getting over the fact that Dylan told us on the break he'd never heard of Eddie Money. And he goes, oh, yeah, he's the one who sang Party all the time. That would be Eddie Murphy, okay? Very distinctly different guy.
I can't read.
Oh,
forgive me.
It's all right,
Got
man.
one of the greatest songs in 70s lore, man.
2 Tickets to Paradise?
No, the other one, it was...
Who are you talking about, Eddie Money or Eddie Murphy?
Eddie Money.
Yeah, Eddie Money's got a bunch of hits.
I probably heard a song. I just don't know that.
I'm sure you have. Let's see. Think I'm in Love was 82. Baby Hold On to Me was 72. That's a big one right there. So anyway.
Good ones.
All right, let's get to before we go to the phone lines, and they're buzzing right now. We appreciate you. Just be patient for 1 or 2 more minutes, and we'll get to you. Christian Kirk, the ball goes to the open guy, this kind of thing. Okay, the New York Giants this week, and granted, they lost. But they did score 3 touchdowns in their game. If they had a kicker, they probably would have won their game.
Yeah,
they couldn't kick extra points, right? They threw the ball 27 times. 18 of those went to Malik Neighbors, the rookie. 18. So it is possible. And he caught 10 for 120 or so yards and a touchdown. It is possible to feature a guy in your offense.
Sure.
Christian Kirk has been a reliable target for Trevor Lawrence.
One in week 1.
Granted, but over the last couple of years, right? He's getting no looks. And this is a game where you have no Evan Ingram. Brian Thomas Jr. only gets 4 targets, logs. Do they need to be?
Well, I think you're right there. I think is the base of the problem. You're just not having enough opportunities. I mean, you start talking about, well, Brian only had 4 and Kirk only had however. What did Kirk have? How many targets?
He had 3 targets.
3
targets. One for,
not
including the would-be touchdown.
Okay, so the problem is not that they're not targeting him. I mean, the problem is they're targeting him, but there's just not enough targets and opportunities overall. Because this team offensively is not functioning as an offense to give themselves more opportunity by being better on offense, converting third down, and getting more plays overall. I think if you get to that point, then, there's plenty of opportunities for everybody. I mean, you could even make the case that Brian Thomas Jr. needs more opportunities, not necessarily
absolutely.
that Christian Kirk needs more.
Well, somebody needs more.
Yeah, somebody needs more, and part of that is just stringing plays together to where you're converting on third down and you're playing at a higher level on offense.
Well, among the wide receivers, Jeff, to that point, talking about opportunities, Gabe Davis leads the wide receivers this year with 10 targets on the season, including 7 this week. Brian Thomas is second on the team with 8 targets through 2 games. Like, that's exactly what you're talking about. There just aren't a whole lot of opportunities being created in the offense right now. And Christian Kirk, he's gotten 7 of them.
It depends on what you want to do, though, Tom.
Yeah.
The Jags threw it 3 more times than the Giants, and they threw it 18 times to Malik Neighbors.
I'm not disagreeing from the point of them talking about why it hadn't happened at this point. The ball goes where the ball goes. Well, you can choose that. Right, like to some degree, you can choose.
Plays are designed to feature certain guys.
So we want to get Kirk involved. Need to get Kirk involved early, then do it. Right.
That's why you have what they call progressions. As a quarterback drops back, there's always a primary, and then he goes to number 2, and then the number 3 option, and then on down the line. So there are plays that are designed for guys. And the reality is that there were 2 opportunities that were lost in that ball game. One of them, you had the illegal shift motion. When you were down at the goal line where Christian catches the ball in the end zone that would have been a touchdown, then you go to the play right after that, which remember the incompletion to Etienne in the end zone. Well, if Trevor could have stayed in the pocket, Christian Kirk was wide open on the left-hand side, but Trevor got flushed from the pocket because of the pressure. So to go back to what, we started talking about this offense and that everybody's kind of taking turns, all these things that are breaking down on this offense are all fixable. It's not like you sit there and you watch the film and you go, there's no way this is going to get better because this guy is so bad and this guy is so bad and that guy is so bad. it's fixable. A lot of it is. And it also goes to Trevor. I mean, there's plays that Trevor's got to be better at. You know, you go to a play in which I think it was when they had 1st and goal at the 2, and they ended up taking a minus play down there after that, and I can't remember exactly. I think it was Travis -2. So now it's 2nd and 4 from the 4. Trevor drops back, and he's got Brian Thomas Jr. coming open on the right-hand side, and he's the primary. Doesn't see it. He leaves his eyes too soon, and then he ends up escaping the pocket to the left side. You know, so again, you know, then you go to the safety. Okay, well, the safety, everybody's blaming the double team. Well, it's not a double team. It's a slide protection. Okay, slide protection. You got 2 guys, and so the reason you're sliding to that side is because Miles freaking Garrett is over there. Well, Miles does a great job of just getting around the edge on Cam, kind of forcing Trevor to step up into the pocket. And then it starts out as a double team, but it doesn't stay as a double team between Ezra Cleveland and Mitch Morse. And then the guy ends up kind of what we would call splitting it, but it wasn't really a true double. And so Trevor really didn't have anywhere to go, you know, so he kind of runs into that because if Trevor had a good pocket on the right side too, he would have been able to let that guy just go by on his left. But because, you got somebody flashing around the outside, Myles Garrett, and obviously I would know that Myles Garrett is there too if I played quarterback. And then you got a little flash on your right-hand side. Now he's stepping up forward left. Well, he kind of runs right into that guy, you know, which Mitch Morse was blocking him. And if the pocket was clean elsewhere, the block would have been fine. I mean, so it's a combination of all 3 of those things together that just don't allow the play to happen. And also Trevor's eyes drop a little bit on that play. And
it feels though like the everything, and granted, this is probably true for NFL offenses to operate effectively, period, but it feels like everything has to be perfect. Like if you have one thing break down, the Jags are not right now overcoming. I'm not saying they're not capable of overcoming it, but they're not overcoming it.
Yeah, because nothing's ever perfect, I think is the point that you're saying. I mean, not everybody's going to have the perfect block, and not everybody's going to have the perfect, view of the field to be able to make a great throw. I mean, you're right in that aspect, and that you've got to be able to overcome certain flaws on a play, and right now they're just not doing it.
All right, let's go to the phones. They're loaded up. Check the tape Tuesday if you've got a question or a comment about Jaguar football. Let's go. Dominic on the north side going to lead things off. Good morning, Dominic.
What's good, y'all? What's up, Mike, Jeff, MST? Y'all good? Y'all healthy?
All good.
Yes, sir. All right, so it's a 2-part question, but it's primarily about the defense. The first part was, during the offseason, I was under the assumption that this was supposed to be primarily a man-to-man defense, and I barely ever see our DBs, do bump and run. Like, when I look at our defense and I look at the DBs specifically, they play off a lot. Even in, when they do man coverage, I don't see them lining up right in front of the receiver and playing bump and run. And I honestly don't understand why. So my real question, or my first question would be, what is this defense supposed to be? And then the second question I have, is there any real logic outside of, I guess, rest? But is there any real logic to all of these defensive substitutions that we keep doing? I was listening to Tony yesterday, and he made a good point. When you look at the best players in the league, they stay on the field regardless if they're tired or not. Unless they injured, they coming off the field. And when I'm looking at it, Josh Allen, you know what I'm saying, Walker, all of these guys, even Eric Armstead, they consistently get on and off the field. And I'm like, all right, I get it. That's defensive rotation. But then you're looking at linebackers and stuff like that, too. I'm a Florida Gator fan. I genuinely don't feel like Ventrell Miller is ready for the pass game. He okay.
Dominic, let me jump in. We got the idea of the question here. We got a lot of people to get to here. Man-to-man defense.
Just real quick on the man-to-man. Okay, week 1, and then this past week I haven't seen the numbers yet, but I will look them up here shortly. I mean, they were the number 1 team in the league playing man-to-man. I mean, that's but
I understand what the point. There was one play on a 3rd down where Monteric Brown's got Jerry Jeudy one-on-one. He's playing 6 yards off them, and Jeudy just runs right behind the defensive line, and Monteric's then chasing him across the field, and it's an easy completion and a conversion.
It was like a 3rd and 8. It was late in the game. It was a 3rd and 8, and Monteric was in trail, and I don't know. First of all, let me just say this about Monteric Brown. Played a fantastic game. I mean, he was awesome. I thought his coverage was outstanding. I think that was probably one of the only plays that he gave up in the ball game was that 3rd and 8. Everything else, I thought he was outstanding. Might have been defensive player of the game in my book.
And he may have been, but that was an example of, are we going to be pressing these guys? Or are we
it's at 3rd and 8? I mean, I'm not pressing anybody in 3rd and 8 either. I mean, that's just give them credit on that one. You're playing man, and the reason you're kind of playing off coverage is that, you don't want to get beat at the line of scrimmage and all of a sudden give something over the top because, you got some room to play with. So that's part of the reason why you play off, even if you're playing man on 3rd and 8, is just if they want to do something shallow, let them do something shallow and react. Could he react a little bit better in that situation? Sure. But, I mean, overall, I mean, it was a minimal completion that, I mean, did get a first down. But yeah, I don't have any problem with the way that he played that coverage.
All right. Are they rotating their star players too much?
I think as long as you've got your stars on the field in critical situations, which this team does have that, then they're fine. There's been a few points to where, like, Ventrell's been out there. Has his performance been terrible? No. I don't have any problem with it at all. As long as your guys are on the field when it's a critical moment.
Well, how do you know when it's a critical moment? Any point in the game can be the key moment.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go that route, then you would criticize the Cleveland Browns for ever taking Myles Garrett off the field. I mean,
no, I'm not saying a guy like Boye Oluokun is used to playing every snap and never seems to suffer for it.
Well, he never seems to, but I mean, could he be better, even better, if he gets 10 plays off during a game in which, a game maybe goes 70 plays? Yeah, I mean, probably can be, But, I mean, to your point, you go back to the New Orleans games last year. I think he played like 90 snaps in the ball game, and the first one looked like the 90th one. I mean, whatever the number was. I mean,
I remember you remarking about that.
Yeah,
like
tremendous.
He never seems to get worn down.
No, he's one of the most incredible stamina guys that I've ever seen. But I get the point. And then also the reason that they do stuff like that is that, look, let's say Boye gets hurt next week. Okay, now you're going to go for the rest of the game with a guy that's never had a snap.
Yeah, but that's the way almost any team's middle linebacker situation goes. Most of them.
Some of them, yeah. I mean, but I get Ryan Nielsen's philosophy, and here's the issue. That's not preventing this defense from performing well. That's not a problem. So for me, I mean, it's not even worthy of a conversation just because that's not the problem that the defense is having right now. The defense right now needs to create some takeaways, and in that ball game that we just saw, they need to play better out of the gate.
All right, let's get Brad on the south side before we hit our own break here. Brad, you're up next on Jaguars Today. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning. Yesterday I saw a graph. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was a graph that talked about neutral throw rates in the NFL, and the Jaguars were dead last in that graph. And with that said, I was at the game Sunday, and I couldn't tell you how many times it felt like I saw the Browns running a single high safety. And to me, that tells me one thing, that they aren't scared of getting thrown on. So, Logs, I'm just kind of curious what you saw and if you agree with that statement. Thanks, guys.
All right, well, the graph, I have no idea what you're talking about on the graph, and the Browns playing single high safety. That's what they play. I mean, that's what they call rush, crush, and what's the other thing? I wrote it down in a ball game. It's a philosophy that Doug – rush, crush, and close. That's what they play. They play a ton of single high man. That's an aggressive defense. They're going to bring extra pressure. That's Jim Schwartz's style. Is that a lack of respect to the Jaguars offensively? No, that's just the way. I mean, they're going to play that way against the best offense in the National Football League, just how they do it. Could they have been more effective in the game, the Jaguars offensively, and taken more shots down the field? Absolutely, in my opinion. Were there opportunities to do that? Absolutely, in my opinion. There was a 2nd and 5 that was like a play action, I think it was, and you got Brian Thomas Jr., I think it was on the left side of the field. He's in man coverage. Look, at some point you got to recognize that when Brian Thomas Jr. is covered in man coverage and he's down the field,
take a shot.
Throw the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as you see that, okay, I got a guy who's really freaking good that can beat anybody down the field. Take a chance. And, there was not even eyes looked in his direction, which was kind of shocking.
Wait, is that because he's not high in the progression or Trevor's not seeing guys?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I mean, right. I don't know the progression. If I knew the progression, I could say, well, Mike, he was the first.
I got you.
I don't know.
All right, we got to take a time out here. Keep them on the line. If you're there, we'll take you in the order that you came in at 641-1010, the Garber Automotive phone lines. We'll get back with more Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman straight ahead on Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. In life, you got to make plans, right? You got to know where you're going to be and how you're going to get there. Well, what if where you want to be is a lot lighter than you are right now? You want to lose 20 pounds, but they've been pesky and you've had a difficult time doing it. Maybe it's more. Maybe it's 50. Maybe it's 100 or more. Look at the success that we have had here at 1010XL. Myself, Matt Hayes, and Hacker, and we've all had it thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Lose the weight? Sure. You may have even done that successfully by yourself in the past. Have you been able to maintain that weight loss? Awaken 180 has a plan, a roadmap to get you to your goal. Whatever your goal weight is, they're going to help you get there. And the big thing is once you hit your goal weight, it's free coaching and support for life to help you maintain that weight loss that you work so hard for. Awaken180weightloss.com is a great place to start. But if you want to be their next success story, pick up the phone, call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800. It worked for me. It'll work for you as well. That's Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Do the Garber Wiggle, Garber Wiggle, 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 Garber Wiggle.
If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle with lifetime warranty, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Best price, best payment, best trade-in value, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. With a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there is always a little room for wiggle.
Garber Wiggle, Garber Wiggle, 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 Garber Wiggle.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A. member FDIC.
Cyber threats don't take time outs. Protect your business with DoubleCheck Cybersecurity's AI-powered solutions. Get 24/7 defense and stop hackers before they score. Don't wait. Visit doublecheck.com to schedule your free security consultation today.
Arrested? Got traffic tickets? DUI? License problems, gun charges, drug charges? If you've been charged with any crime, call me, criminal defense attorney Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
It's storm season, and JEA is committed to keeping you informed. In the event of a storm, we'll text and email you about the status of your services. We use Facebook and X to post real-time updates. Our live outage map on JEA.com lets you track restoration progress.